What's going on, trappers? Welcome back to J-Will Trap TV. If you're like K9 and you're betting on this channel, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and put a notification bell so you know when I go live or make a new video. I wouldn't want you to get dropped over a like. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to J-Will Trap TV. What's going on? Today, we are covering BMF Season 2, Episode 4. This episode is called Runnin on E, and I really enjoyed this one, so let's get right into it. Let's go. So we start this one off with another title card from Terry. This one says, I am my brother's keeper, and I always hold him down, even when he didn't know it. We start the episode off in the hospital, and Meech, he is hurt. He has bullets being pulled out of him. We get a monologue from Terry where he tells us that Meech is the older brother, he is the alpha, and he's always supposed to have been looking out for Terry, but sometimes that changes and there's a curveball, and now Terry has to look out for Meech. We see Meech's baby mama, Lori, in the hospital, and she's crying, she's distraught, and we see Charles come over and console her. It gets revealed to us that Al has snuck Lamar into the hospital, and Lamar, he is dressed up as a nurse, and he looks like he's looking for Meech so he can finish the job. Meech wakes up in the hospital, and he has a Uzi in his hand. I guess that's allowed in the 80s. You can just, keep a Uzi with you in the hospital if you're recovering. Terry comes in, he talks to Meech, and he's worried that Lamar is gonna come to the hospital to finish the job. So he tries to help Meech up, and Meech, he's complaining, but Terry gets under Meech and he starts to pick him up. We switch to Lamar, who has made it to Meech's room, and it's starting to look scary. He walks into the room with his pistol, and Meech has already left. Terry got him out in time. Meech is put into the back of one of Terry's cars, and Roland is driving. Roland thanks Meech for taking those bullets. He says that Meech shielded him from those bullets, and Meech tells him that that wasn't his beef, and don't worry about it. Roland says he's gonna look out for Meech for the rest of his life. They bring Meech to Lori's house. Meech is still in bad shape and he's bleeding. Lori comes in and she expresses her concerns for harboring Meech. She thinks that her mother and her daughter will be in danger if Meech is here. She hears about Lamar and she gets even more worried. But she still wants to help Meech, so she gets him some aspirin. Meech assures Lori that Lamar doesn't know her and that they're safe here. Meech is now getting briefed on BMF. It turns out they are running on E. They don't have any drugs and they don't have any money. Meech tells BMF to hit up his new connect, but BMF says that connect has gone to win. So BMF is lying, he was snitching, he was gonna get Meech caught up in that sting, and now he's saying that medical grade connect, he's gone and he can't get a hold of him. Terry speaks up and he says he has an idea. He says they can move the work over to Langston and they can use his car business to trap out the car and sell the drugs. Dang, Terry trying to get back in the game, baby. He tells Meech it's a smaller market and that they can charge more. Meech is hearing what Terry's saying, and he likes the idea of expanding within the state before they go nationwide. As they are sharing expansion ideas to hold up BMF, BMF gets upset and he says, I thought I was number 2. Terry brushes that off. He says that Meech is his brother. He says that he had to step in when he went MIA. And with all of Terry's ideas, you can see why Terry is a stronger number 2 than BMF. Terry says that he can hit up Big L, but Meech lets him know that she's been killed by K9. Terry tells Meech that he may have an in with Boom, but Meech is against this and he said that he already gave Boom a chance. Meech tells him to contact Pat. Terry's not really interested because he says that Pat never worked with him and respected him. Meech tells him to meet up with them anyway. Now he's switched to Terry, and instead of Terry talking to Pat, he is talking to Markeisha. He goes over to Markeisha at her job and he asks her for a meeting with Boom. Markeisha says she can't do that, and she asks if that's what the kiss was all about. Terry pushes back and says that the kiss has nothing to do with any of this. Then Markeisha asks, well, then why are you trying to spend game and business off of our relationship? He says his feelings for her are real. He thinks about her every day, and he hopes that she feels the same way about him. He prays that she feels the same way about him. Dang. She says that she can't set up a meeting with Boom. Terry pleads further, and she says, okay, if you keep this between you and I can tell you where he's gonna be tonight. So dang, she actually helped. So we switch to the precinct and we have Jen meeting with Bryant. Bryant wants to know why Jen has brought Meech in for questioning. Bryant says that Meech is not gonna snitch on who shot him even if he knows that Lamar shot him. Jen says that she's just trying to figure this out. She's trying to work the case and that she's really concerned about how Bryant was almost about to let Meech bleed out. She says that she's just trying to do her job. Veronica Jen takes Meech into an interrogation room where we find Lamar. Meech is like, yeah, why am I here? And she says that they are both under suspicion of shooting each other. Lamar says, oh, you was a dead man walking. And Meech says, yeah, that must be the same for both of us. Lamar asks the cops why he has cuffs on, but not Meech. Brian says, don't worry about it, they run stuff here, that this is the way they're doing things. Jen asks Meech if Lamar was the one who shot him. Meech doesn't point Lamar out, but they go back and forth with some jabs at each other. They get into some Batman and the Joker shit, and Lamar says that he's the Joker and that he's gonna choke the life out of Meech. And then Meech comes back and says he's Batman and Batman always wins. Meech then says if they don't got anything, that he wants to leave and he wants to get out the precinct. Jen tries to appeal to Meech and she says if you point him out that we can put him away forever. Meech tells Jen that they can do what they're gonna do and that he's gonna handle things the way that he handles things. So Meech about to let the streets take care of Lamar. Lamar speaks up and he says he wants out too. Jen says that she's gonna hold him there and let him stew for a bit. Lamar, he sees this and he starts singing Happy Feelings. So Jen and Bryant, they walk out the interrogation room to strategize. Jen says if Meech is hobbling around, then someone else must be running BMF. Bryant thinks it's Terry. Jen doesn't think it's Terry and she says he's under surveillance by Drano. They make bets on if they're wrong or right about Terry dealing, and Bryant says if he wins the bet that he's gonna be able to drive the car again, and Jen says if she wins the bet that Bryant's gonna stop smoking cigarettes, cause he stank. We now switch to Terry at the Flannery house. He comes home. Charles immediately says, hey, Meech checked at the hospital. Do you know where he is? Terry says that he's at Lori's house. He says that Meech didn't want to stay at that hospital because that's the same hospital that messed up Terry's eye. So Terry is trying to, lie for Meech and run game and, keep things going for him. And Charles ain't having none of that. Charles says enough of the excuses. This is definitely the result of a drug feud. He tells Terry to stay away from Meech and that Meech is going to drag him into this. He doesn't want to get him caught in the crossfire. Terry says that he's going to get ready for work and that he's going to go catch some rides for some flights that can make up some of the money he lost from Devil's Night. He says this will also take his mind off of Meech. He says this is what his pops would do. When he says this, everyone kind of looks at each other and gets concerned. Wanda follows him into the room and she asks him to stay. She asks if Meech getting shot brought back any bad memories from his experience. Terry isn't interested. He says he'll be fine. And when she asks him what job he's gonna do, he tells her that he's gonna go help Meech and that he will see her tomorrow. We now switch to Lamar and he's at Najiri's house. Najiri was a nurse that Lamar had relations with at the Coney prison. Sounds like that he used to meet up in the bathroom and get it on. Lamar is here and it looks like he is looking for that, straight out the pen loving. And Najiri is ready to go. She's really excited. She starts to try to unbuckle his pants and then she notices Lamar's chest bag. Lamar says it's fine, it's from surgery. She starts to get Lamar going, trying to get him going. She reaches to his pants, but I guess your boy Lamar is not working down there. I think maybe Meech cheddar bobbed him when he shot him last season because Lamar, his junk ain't working and he can't get it up. Lamar gets mad at Najiri and he takes off. So now we switch to Terry. And Terry, he's coming into Boom's club or the club that Boom is at. He's wearing his work clothes. Boom sees Terry and he trolls him a little bit on his outfit. And then Terry asks Boom for a front. Boom says he's a cash only kind of guy and he doesn't do fronts. But then Terry says it'll be a power move for Boom if the streets sees him working with BMF. Terry says that Pat, their previous dealer, couldn't keep up with their rhythm and that Boom can. Boom is still a little resistant to all of this, and he sends Markeisha to get him another cigar cutter, and when he sends her, he smacks her on the butt. She kind of stops, and it looks like she doesn't like this kind of treatment. It doesn't look like Terry liked when Boom smacked Markeisha's ass, but he holds his cover and he doesn't say shit about it. Boom then goes on to say that he's a lot of things, but he's not a bad businessman. Terry says that Boom can trust him because they have enough foot soldiers to push the weight through the drought. Boom says he can do about 5 keys, but that he's gonna charge interest, inflation for helping Terry and fronting this to him during this drought. Terry says that's fine, and before he leaves, he walks over to Markeisha while Boom isn't looking, and he tells her that if she was his wife, he wouldn't treat her like a servant and that she would be treated like a queen. Markeisha's sister doesn't say anything, she thinks about it, and then we see Boom turn around and look on. So we now switch to the church. It looks like we got a sermon going on. We got Pastor Swift, Lucille, and we got Charles up front. So he must not be that mad because he's over there sitting next to Mr. Swift and everything seems to be okay. Swift asks the church to join hands and pray for Meech's recovery. As the church starts to pray, some folks decide to get up and leave and protest because they don't really like what Meech is about. Lucille sees this and she stands up, she gets pissed. She starts calling out these members for their own personal transgressions, and she says that her kids came from this broken city, this broken community, and while they aren't perfect, she isn't asking them to forgive her son and that she wouldn't wish this on any of their children. Pastor Swift tries to calm her down, but she says that she deserves their support. After she finished speaking, Swift says that that will conclude the service and folks start to leave. Lucille's really distraught and she approaches Charles and she says that she's ready to go. Charles says that he has to help break stuff down and to give her the keys and that he'll get home by getting a ride from Lou. Lucille takes the keys and she leaves. So at this point, Sister Riley, and you guys gotta watch the way she creeps up. She creeps up on Charles and she says that she's sorry that folks had walked out. Charles says that if Meech wasn't his son, that he probably would have walked out too, and that Meech helped break this community. She tells him that he's a good man, starts putting her hand on his chest and starts saying that everybody knows he's a good man and that one day These kids are gonna look at all the lessons he's taught them and make him proud. At this point, boom, we see Lucille standing there like, boy, what is you doing? Let's go. And she says, Charles, it's time to leave. So I'm wondering, and you know, when she walked, look, you could tell Sister Riley was definitely caught off guard when she seen that Lucille seen her putting her hand on her man's chest. Woo! So we now go to Meech, and he's at Mo's house. Mo is upset that Meech did not listen to her about Lamar being alive. She doesn't like all these dudes watching her house. It looks like Meech got some dudes watching her house on the outside, and Roland's inside the house helping out. But he's also eating up all the donuts. Meech says to send Zoe and Tiara to her mother's house. Mo says that she doesn't want to listen to Meech. Meech says he's sorry that he didn't listen to Mo about Lamar being alive, but that he paid the price for that. He says that she needs to listen to him until he's able to pop Lamar. Mo says she will handle it herself, and then she opens up a drawer with a pistol in it. It also turns out there's a little baggie of coke in there, and Meech zooms in on that and says, oh, this is how you handling stuff? And she says, hey, look, shit has been crazy. I need to take the edge off. And Meech still doesn't accept that. And he's like, no, you can't be doing no drugs. Mo gets mad and tells Meech to get the hell out the house. But it looks like she's gonna follow his orders and move Zoe and Tiara to her mom's house. We now switch to the Flannery car business, and Veronica, Jen, and Bryant are outside taking pictures. They're outside watching Terry, and they're debating on whether or not they think Terry is really running drugs out of his business. Veronica Jen says that Terry does look like a good kid on paper, and that doesn't matter. She doesn't think that he's doing this out of the car business. Brian disagrees, and he definitely thinks that Terry is still dealing. We then switch to Terry and Denise. Terry's asking Denise to go to Lansing. It looks like he's trying to get her to move that weight, but he's not telling her that she is moving weight. She's wondering why she's just driving somewhere for no reason, and Terry says not to worry about it. He tells her to go visit her son at Michigan State and just enjoy the time, and she'll get paid for it. She says that she's gonna want a little bit more money for this job. At this point, time stops, and Terry gives us a little lesson on white people, Ronald Reagan, and the war on drugs. He says that Reagan's war on drugs destroyed black communities, and he wonders what the whole war was about, if it was really about drugs, or if it was about going to war with black people. We switch to Lori's house, and Meech comes in. Lori's holding their daughter, but it looks like Meech wants to get a little intimate. She says that he's all shot up, but he says, hey, I haven't been shot in my... Lori goes to put TT to sleep, and then she meets Meech in the room. At that point, she asks Meech if he's tired of doing all this street stuff, and he says nope. He tells her that he wants her to be a good mom to his daughter, and they start to get it on. It looks like Batman has all his family jewels together while the Joker couldn't even get it up. We switch back to Bryant and Veronica Jen, and they are still following Terry. It looks like Terry's driving around some passengers for the business, and they are assuming he's being clean. They follow him to an assisted living facility. Terry gets out and he goes to meet some customers inside the facility and pick them up to take to the airport. But it also turns out that Boom is here, so Terry's doing two things at once. He's meeting these customers and grabbing their luggage, and he's also getting some luggage from Boom filled with drugs. Boom tells Terry that if he doesn't get his money, that he's gonna kill him. Terry tells Boom to hang back and go to bingo because I think he knows that Veronica, Jen, and Bryant are following him. Terry goes back outside, and the cops see Terry load up these elderly people's luggage. At this point, they discuss searching him, but then they decide that they don't want to pull him over with some elderly folks in the car and search them and turn up with nothing. So they decide to go to the bar instead. We switch over to Wolf Records, and we got the BMF guys and some of the 12th Street guys in here. They're in here, they're talking about Meech, and they're wondering what happened. They're saying he got shot, and they're saying they heard Lamar did it. B. Mickey tries to calm this stuff down and says, hey, don't be talking about that stuff in here. And then Tiny says that he's tired of taking orders from B. Mickey. At this point, Meech walks in, and they're all happy to see him. Meech comes in, he says, yo, I got hit 3 times, but I'm still 10 toes down for BMF. Every organization has some growing pains, but we're gonna have to kind of move forward and stick with it. Tiny from 12th Street Boys says he doesn't buy what Meech is selling and that he's leaving the gang. He leaves the gang and he takes NATO with him. Saki at this point says the merger was a bad idea, and Meech says, fuck those guys. We switch to Lamar. He's at Al's house, and he has his shirt off. It looks like he's kind of surveying his body, his wounds. Maybe that penis that ain't working. Al comes in and he says Lamar's getting a little too comfortable walking around in his drawers and stinking up his house. Lamar asks Al to help change his chest bag. And at this point, we find out what is going on with Lamar. So he has this bag on his chest, and I'm pretty sure his bowel movements are coming into this bag. Al gives Lamar a lesson on how he should clean the bag, that he needs to change it every 3 days, and he needs to keep it clean, and that it's gonna smell like shit because all of his shit is coming into this bag. Lamar's kind of sad. He's looking into space, and Al asks him what's wrong. At this point, Lamar tells him that he tried to, put it on old girl, but he couldn't get his shit up. Al tells Lamar that he's not supposed to be having sex for 3 months and he needs to wait. Otherwise, if he keeps trying to have sex, he could rupture something permanently. So your boy is done down. Rupture, what? Rupture, goddamn. That's not a good word for, below the waist. Lamar gets upset and he tells Al that Al can't tell him when to bust a nut. He then gets a little further down. He's kind of down, not feeling so good. And he says he doesn't know what's going on with him. He's saying that he shot Meech 3 times and he's walking around, walking like a peacock while he's just kind of stuck and he's lost everything. Al says that Lamar needs to be himself and take back what is his. We then end the scene. But before we end the scene, I gotta know, is Al really fucking dead bodies? So we switch back to Jen following Terry, and we're doing a lot of following this episode. They are at the car business and they're still betting on whether or not they think Terry is dealing drugs. At this point, we see B. Mickey pull up and Brian's like, well, why would B. Mickey be here? He's not here for a tire change. Terry closes the garage and we switch to him and B. Mickey. Terry shows B. Mickey the trapped out car. B. Mickey inspects it. B. Mickey says he's gonna add some carbon paper to the car to protect it from x-rays. Terry shows B. Mickey the weight and B. Mickey says that Meech will be happy that Terry was able to secure this. We then switch to Lamar and he ambushes Nato from 12 Street Boys. This is one of those guys that, jumped ship to BMF. He beats this dude's ass with like a stick and I'm pretty sure he's this dude's gonna die. But what is absolutely disgusting is this fool, he says, oh bro, you about to eat my shit. And then he pours out that chest bag into this fool's mouth and he gets shit all over his hands, bro. Just killed this dude and walks away with shit on his hands. Watch my reaction to this scene because I was so grossed out. We switch back to Jen and Brian. And at this point, we see Terry and Denise driving off and now they're like tripping out because they're like, hold on a second. I thought these guys didn't work with white people. Is Denise running the drugs for Terry? Who should we follow? And then we end the scene. We now switch to Tiny's house, the guy from 12th Street who kind of just walked out on the gang. And he's getting ready for a date. He's, getting himself together, looking through the mirror and stuff, opens up his medicine cabinet. And God, this medicine cabinet is so tired. Guys, look inside this medicine cabinet. Where are the shelves in here? Where is the medicine in here? What is your boy doing? Guy closes the medicine cabinet and then we see Lamar in the mirror and dude, Tiny looks like he just seen a ghost. Lamar starts fighting Tiny. Lamar bangs Tiny's head into the mirror. Tiny turns around and he starts trying to fight back. He gets Lamar on the ground, but Lamar, he doesn't give up. He seems to get the upper hand. He's able to kick him in the face, and then next thing you know, they're still fighting, and then he wraps him up in some plastic, the shower wrap, and he's able to choke him out and kill him. This fool Lamar, bro, how did this fool Lamar, this fool hurt? And how are these niggas healthy and not whooping this nigga's ass? This is your chance to get this crazy nigga. And you bigger, you got bigger size than this dude. How y'all let Lamar do that? This fool Lamar must be strong. So now we switch back to Brian again and Veronica Jen, and we've been doing a lot of spying on Terry this episode. So they're driving behind Denise now, and they're still debating on whether she's, helping Terry out, and they decide to pull her over. They have Denise out there and it's clear she has no clue about the drugs. She doesn't know. She's feeding them the story that Terry gave her about going to see her son at Michigan State. But then next thing you know, Brian, he's going to the car. He sees that there's some irregularities and he pulls it apart. He calls Veronica over and Veronica and him find the keys of coke. They then go back and they arrest Denise. So Denise starts freaking out. This girl is not gonna be able to hold her shit when she goes to jail. We then switch to the next morning at the Flynn house. Phone rings. And Charles picks up the phone. Oh God. And guess who it is? It is Denise. And she doesn't want to talk to Charles. She wants to talk to Terry. Terry gets on the phone and Denise says they found what he put in her car. She says that he needs to come down here and tell them that she had nothing to do with it. Terry says don't talk to anyone but a lawyer and he hangs up. At this point, Charles is big mad. Charles asks Terry if Denise is in jail. Terry tries to say he has to go. Charles keeps pressing him. He's like, why did she ask for you and not me? And Terry keeps trying to leave. And Terry keeps trying to leave, talking about, Pops, I gotta go. As Terry's walking to the door, Big Charles grabs Terry, pins him up against the wall, and is like, hey, don't be popsing me. What is going on? What did you do? And then Terry, he breaks. He says, I was just trying to help Meech. And the next thing you know, Charles, boom, punches the wall. Boom, breaks. Hey, Lucille said, fix those walls, boy. You over here breaking the walls. Lucille come down, she's mad at Terry too. Charles tells Terry that he ruined Denise's life and he probably ruined their business. Terry says that what he was doing on the streets got them the business in the first place, and this kind of shuts Charles up. At this point, Lucille comes in and she says, Meech never lied about who he is. She says that Terry pretended to be smarter than what he was, but maybe he's not that smart at all. So dang, Lucille came down pretty hard on Terry. We now see Terry briefing Meech at Lori's house. Meech is upset because he's like, I thought I told you to go to Pat. You didn't listen to me anyway. Meech says now that the weight that you got from Boone, it's taken, and this chick, this Lois Lane chick, is in the freaking jail and she's probably gonna sing on us. Terry says that she does have a kid, so she probably will not take the charge. So she knows that she about to sing. Meech then gets mad. He tells Terry that he must be the dumbest motherfucker he's ever met. Terry tells Meech to not act like he doesn't make mistakes. And Meech is like, no, bro, this is not a mistake. This is a huge fuck up. You like went against all the rules we made. You broke every rule that we've set up. Like, you just fucked it up. Meech says he doesn't see a way out of this and that him and Terry are gonna have to bounce. They're gonna have to go and leave and lay low. Terry tries to say no, he tries to push back, but then Meech says, look, we have no work, we have no money, Lamar is after us, and now this lady's about to snitch on us and these cops are gonna try to lock us up. We gotta get out of here. Terry asks where they're gonna go, and Meech says as far away as possible. He says that they can go to Atlanta and work with Earl, or they can work with Todd Washington. Terry asks about his school, because he is in the middle of school. Meech says fuck school and they gotta worry about their safety. Terry says he has to make a run. I'm assuming this is go to see Markeisha, and Meech is like, no man, we can't do anything. You fucking made a bunch of stupid moves. But Terry says he's not going anywhere until he makes this run. So what did I say? Boom, this dude, he went to go see Markeisha, went to go see her at her job, was trying to get in as they were closing. The security guard's like, bro, you cannot come in. And then Markeisha tells the security guard to let Terry in, and then the security guard goes home. At this point, Markeisha's like, bro, you cannot be coming into my job acting all crazy like this, but you can tell she still likes it. Terry briefs Markeisha on the situation. He lets her know that Boom's weight got taken and that everything is falling on him. He says that he has to go lay low and that before he left, he wanted to come see her. Markeisha does not care that her husband's weight got taken. She says, come here, and they take him and she takes him into the back, and it looks like they are about to do it. Dang! Terry and her having sex, telling her she's beautiful. And after they finish up, Terry's like, he wishes he can stay here forever and do this forever. I'm like, yeah, I would like to do that forever with Miss Markeisha as well. Markeisha says that when he gets back, that he's gonna have to make a decision on what he wants. So dang, that sex was good. Markeisha like, okay, I'm ready to choose up on my husband. So when you get back, you better be ready to choose up on Wanda. Damn. Well, she didn't say all that, but that's what I got. We now switch to Meech, and he's telling Lori goodbye. She's worried about him. She's worried about his safety. She's saying that she wants him to be here for his daughter. She asks what his plan is, and Meech says that he's gonna be safe and that his plan is to buy them a palace. Back at the Flannery home, it looks like Terry is rushing and telling Wanda what's going on, but he's not giving her a lot of information the way he gave Markeisha. He gives her some money. He says that he went and sold some of his jewelry at the pawn shop and just breaks her off. She says, oh, I should not have come back. He gives her a kiss and says he'll be back. At this point, we see Meech speaking to Nicole, telling her that he has some folks, he has Hoop and Roland watching the house and that they will be safe. Lucille's in distress. She wants to know where they're going. They don't tell her where they're going. And looks like Charles upset too, but Charles is like, yo man, here's some cash. It's all the cash I got left. I know you guys gave everything you guys had to your kids, so I'm gonna give this to you guys. So okay, Charles, you know, when shit hits the fan, you still there for your kids, you still about your kids, even despite like what you were saying in the church. So hey, I respect you on that one. And that's why I say you guys gotta give Charles some respect. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to his kids, he about his kids. Charles tells Meech and Terry to be safe and to look out for each other. So he just wants their safety. We then switch to the precinct and we got Jen and Brian and they are watching Denise inside the interrogation room through the little window that she can't see through. Jen asks Brian if she thinks she will snitch and Brian's like, oh yeah, she about to snitch. She about to sing like a bird because she's not in the game. She has a kid and she has no loyalty to the Flannerys. Jen wants to go in and Brian's like, nah girl, wait a second. We about to let this girl marinate a little bit. Think about all the bad shit she's in. We're about to threaten her fucking livelihood, and then we're gonna come in and crack her like a little egg. Brian also tells Veronica Jen that he won the bet and that he's gonna need those car keys, those keys to the driver's seat. She gives him the keys, but she still says no smoking. So at that point, I thought the episode was gonna be over, but then we switch to Meech and Terry and they're driving. Looks like Terry's listening to some slow jams, thinking about that great time he had with Markeisha, and Meech ain't trying to have none of that. He wants to listen to some gangster shit. So when he tries to switch to some gangster shit, all of a sudden, we see Lamar. And Lamar, he's coming with the Jeep. He's crashing into them. He's crashing. He's trying to get them, trying to hit him with the pit maneuver and spin him out. But Terry, he's driving, and I don't know if this dude can drive with one eye because he's like swerving around, not driving that freaking Mercedes as fast as they can to get the hell out of there. But we see a car from incoming traffic turn into their lane and they stop Lamar from chasing them. At this point, Lamar's Jeep, the engine burns out and he's kind of stuck. He can't keep pursuing Meech and Terry. So Meech and Terry, they keep going. They're on their way to ATL. So it looks like things are about to switch up pretty big in BMF. It looks like we're moving out of Detroit and we're going into ATL. So guys, here are my thoughts on this episode. This episode, we had a lot going on. This episode transitioned us out of the first 3 episodes and into something new. So it looks like Meech is making that full recovery, right? B. Mickey is still lying. about working with the cops, but he didn't get confronted by Bryant this episode. Veronica, Jen, and Bryant are hot on Meech's and Terry's trail. They have gotten Denise. Denise is gonna sing like a bird. It looks like Charles is still kind of, did you see that thing with Miss Riley, Sister Riley? Is he gonna cheat this season, guys? Guys, is he gonna cheat? Can you guys let me know what you guys think about this? And I'm serious when I say let me know in the goddamn comments if you guys think he's gonna cheat. Lucille's catching on to it. She's seen that shit. She came back in. She waited. She's seen her put the chest on her man's hand. I feel like Lucille ain't gonna stand for that, guys. And we got Mo. Mo is scared. Lori's scared. And what's this like? I don't, it's not really a triangle, right? But it seems like, you know, Meech is smashing both of these chicks at the same time. No problem with that. He's a drug lord. That's what they do. We got Lamar confronting the 12th Street boys, killing the guys who betrayed him, who switched sides. What is the end game with this? I know, is B. Mickey gonna be safe with Lamar running around now that he's still in Detroit? What's Lamar's next move? I don't think he's gonna follow them to ATL. So he's probably gonna come over and take over that Wolf Records, take over what BMF has here. Also too, Markeisha and Terry are moving forward, but we also know that Terry fucked up Boom's money. He did not pay him for those drugs and he lost those drugs. So Boom is also gonna be an adversary looking for Terry and Meech to kill them. And he already said, he already knew it was a bad idea to front them, and now he has lost money, he has lost product. What is he gonna do? Is he gonna find out about Markeisha and Terry? How is Terry gonna continue his relationship with Markeisha if he's in ATL? So I'm really interested in seeing what happens there. And guys, when are we gonna see some more Nicole this season? I wanna see, you know, Nicole get a little storyline. It's been a few episodes, we didn't see anything. So those are my thoughts, guys. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live or make a new video. I'm at 349 subscribers. Hey, someone throw me a bone and get me to 350. And really, guys, you guys know I got way bigger goals than that. Get me up to 500, guys. Come on, what's that? Help your boy out, all right? Make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, put a notification bell so you know when I go live or make a new video. All right, guys, peace.